as well. So, okay. So the next thing we're going to do is create that little wall section, and this is almost exactly the way this is, except we're only using a single thickness, and so it's actually probably going to be quicker than doing the lattice work. And so let's start out from the very scratch, and I'm going to take a prime voxel here and a prime voxel there, so we have two to start out with. I'm going to grab that first selection, and I'm going to smooth this down. And I think I'm going to go like super tiny with this one, or as tiny as I possibly can. There we go. That's teeny tiny, and I don't even know if I'll be able to see it on my screen when I go to copy this, but it's pretty darn tiny. We're going to do a Control C to copy, and I'm going to paste this on this corner between these two corners of the prime voxel, right here, right back here, down here at the bottom, and then on the back side. So let's bring this in. There's the first one. Go back 2, down 2, forward 2. So I have that really thin panel now. You can see this one's thinner than what we used for the this one over here, but this is basically what we're after. I'm going to hit copy, and I'm going to delete this one that's up in the air just so it don't get in the way later. But I'm going to copy that selection for that that extruded megavoxel. I'm going to copy that, paste it. And we'll put these 3 in a row with 1 space gap between them. And you can put however many you want of this, but for this I'm going to use just 3. Take my line tool, coming on one side face, and drag it to the first one side face. And you can see it compresses all that down into one direction. And you can see this one, it has some little issues. I think that's because that was the original and it had the microvoxel still there. Oops. It's all good. What we're after is most likely the center one anyway. So, but we're going to go around all faces, all the way around it. And we're going to do this 2 or 3 times on each face. The more times you do it, the better. But we're going to go for each one of these and flatten that out. Like I said, and that first one looks like poop. It's all good. The middle one's the one we're after. But I'm going to go to each face all the way around, if I can get it to do what I want. There we go. Like I said, hit it a few times on each side to flatten this out as much as possible. And that center one is the one we're after. The ones on the end really don't matter, honestly. So let's copy that. I'm going to paste it, and let's throw it over here somewhere. I'm going to drop down another prime voxel, bring it up into the air, hit check, Control V to paste, and I'm going to put this one on the very top, just like that. Let me zoom in so you can kind of see that. I put one on the very top of that prime voxel, go down 2, 1 to the left, 1 to the right, and that's going to create our little triangle shape that we're going to be needing for this. And I'm going to copy this and bring it out. I'm going to paste the first one, hit V to mirror, downwards, paste, and that's going to create the very first one that we're going to be using. I'm going to select both of these, copy it, and that's going to create that square 45-degree angled shape that I'm kind of going for. I'm going to drop this in, and we're going to start just making a wall out of these shapes. I'm kind of going to rinse and repeat this for a little bit, just so we can finish up making our little wall section. Like I said, it's just kind of a little painstaking little process to get all these things in here, but once we get it done, we will be good to go. So I got a partial wall at least there. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to see what I can do about squaring it off a little bit. I took this one, which, let me change my material right quick. You can see what I'm doing. For some reason my paint tool has a tendency of not working correctly. I'm going to grab that shape right here, and in the process copy that, paste it, and we're going to square this off a little. Paste one there, paste one there, take it up to the very top, and I'm going to mirror it up and down. Drop these off at the top just to square it off a bit. And I think that'll do for right now. But in this process, we're building up a wall, okay? And the next part is actually painting this with other textures. And let me grab this burled wood. So I'm going to do this line, skip 2 and go to this next one, and I'll paint the bottom one there. So there's that first line that I'm going to be working with, and let's go ahead and paint over that one. Now I'm going to jump over to another texture. Let's go with a plain wood, angled, should be fine. And I'm going to paint this one, skip one whole section, like so. And let's go with another one, jump to another texture. It takes about 4 textures to get this thing kind of lined up the way you want it, at least. And let's go with a rough plain wood. And I think this is going to be the next one, so let's go with a, let's paint that one first. Raw straight wood. I'm fighting with my textures here, so bear with me here. Alright, that'll work. But we're going to be playing with kind of the texturing here, back and forth, and until we pretty much get it the way we want. I kind of suck at this texturing thing, but the more you kind of play with it, the more you can kind of come up with your own little texture in the process. You can probably come out with something better than I can. But you can be able to make that hatching to where it kind of comes out at angles like this, you know, like this and this and this. Like I said, you can come up with stuff like that. And this kind of the whole entire reason for me showing you this is because it gives you that extra wall pattern to be able to kind of work with. And how does this play with a prime voxel wall? Better, because it's an inlay. This isn't an inlay. This is actually a prime voxel thick wall. And this will be able to make like the wall sections and stuff. And it's kind of what we're after, is that just the texturing, or the way the walls are kind of laid together. This is at an angle like this. this way, where if I just can't come up with that same texture with boxes. You know, you have to use triangles of some sort to be able to make it. Um, now, now, granted, you're going to have to come in here and you're going to have to play with it to get it to come out exactly the way you want. But it's kind of up to your imagination on how you want to kind of work with it and create and all that kind of stuff. Because, like I said, you know, some of these tutorials we kind of come up with don't ever know exactly how they're going to kind of work or whatever. But yeah.